All right, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking Gun Reviews, back to talk more Leftovers Season 1. We're on Episode 5. It's called Gladys. Sorry for the lateness of these. I have been busy with other projects, and we're finally getting back into the world of the Leftovers. Not a very happy world, but a very, very thought-provoking one at the very least. And this one's, I've been waiting for this, but I've also been dreading this one. Because this has what I consider to be one of the hardest scenes of any show I've ever seen in my life. But, and for first-timers to this show, anybody who watches this in the future, it's a mystery what goes on here, and there isn't a resolution at the end to the mystery of Gladys. So bear with me because I'm probably going to talk about the spoiler at the end of the review. So at the very end of the review, because I can't not talk about it, we'll be getting to it. Because this, man, the guilty remnant. Whew! So let's just jump right in. Anyway, Patty and Gladys, played by Marceline Hugot. I tried finding her like clips and stuff to use, and couldn't find any. All I found was Marceline from fucking Adventure Time. But it's not really important. Here she is here. You can kind of tell she's not in a good way right now. But they have this like wordless exchange where there's an understanding between the two of them, and acting like that, I mean, getting what you want said without saying anything is pretty impressive. And there's kind of a nod, an understanding, but we don't know where this is headed. You know, it could be anything, just like a regular ass day. But you get this like feeling that something's about to happen. And she goes about her day as usual, whitewashing things, smoking cigarettes, bothering people, not helping people, just doing usual guilty remnant bullshit. When she stops outside of a gas station and waiting for her friend that goes inside, she's pulled from the darkness and dragged into the woods, tied to a tree with this confused look on her face. And there's some like stuff that's kind of like strange going on here besides like, because there's subtext and how much, you know, does this character know what's happening to them. But figures in the dark begin to stone her. Now, being from a background, a strict religious background, I read the Bible once, forcibly basically, and you read about stonings in the Bible. And they've done it in other things, in other, you know, in other medium, like other movies and stuff to some form. But to see how they did it here is brutal. And it's, I mean, it feels like you're watching this woman be murdered. If you didn't know you were watching a TV show, you would swear you were watching a snuff film. And it is not for the faint of heart. And if it wasn't for the, and let me tell you something, I've seen this episode a handful of times, and it never gets any easier watching this happen, because even in the end, and it's something important later about her reaction here to her own execution, is that she finally speaks and says, like, please don't stop. Now, I don't know if she's saying don't stop, or please, you know, don't stop. But it doesn't matter, and it's she dies here, and it's very, very hard. And like I wrote, this is probably the most difficult thing I've ever seen on TV. That this, if it is what it is, this kind of hate is a very terrible thing to behold. It's like when it's how I felt when I was watching like Mississippi Burning for the first time. And that scene with the civil rights people and how they get what happens to them. Where it just feels so, the hate that you feel. What people will inflict upon each other with hate and racism or against religion, it's just, it's terrifying to behold. And in the aftermath of this, we're under the assumption, right, that this was a attack by townspeople that are just tired of these people because of what they did. Now, this shouldn't happen to anyone. But after what they did to everybody, where they put the facsimiles, the mannequins of their dead loved ones in the houses and took all the pictures, this was something along these lines was going to happen. But the guilty remnant are nothing, they are nothing but, I shouldn't say it like that. They love to push people to breaking points. So they would know themselves that something like this was possible. But again, the show kind of plays with that kind of what we assume people will just do. And, so Patty wakes everybody up banging pots and pans, because we can't talk. Meg is allowed to come with. They all go and they go out into the woods. Sniper guy is there hunting dogs, and he and the remnant find Gladys's body there, tied to the tree, dead. And Lori's face kind of says a lot here, but this is a mystery episode. So there's a lot of are we seeing what we're seeing as what someone is seeing and how they're reacting, actually the way that person really feels? Or is it, guilt? Or is it just kind of do they have to sell the drama because there's a witness there? And throughout this episode, Kevin is kind of having a problem. Kevin's always got a problem, but in this episode, it's about his white shirts being missing. He's always losing things. Kevin has been losing things since the departure took place. And, he's lost his family, and his son's gone, and his daughter's distant, and his wife's gone and wanting a divorce, and the bagels, and his dad's locked up, and, seeing that the dogs are gone, and now his shirts are gone. And it's again, just too much for Kevin. Emily showing up in the hallway in a nightgown, like a nightie, something you don't wear at a friend's house and walk around in. And his look of uncomfortability at her state of undress, and her ability to just kind of be it doesn't, kind of tells him, I don't know, she's fine with it, but he's looking at her how does she have the ability to I don't know. Trying to walk a thin line here. Now Patty shows up at his house, and she's got her note that's very concerned. But again, how much of this is actual concern? Because the guilty remnant, why would they care? Why are they all of a sudden showing such concern for one of their own? I mean, they don't seem to care about life or death. They seem to like to mock people's feeling about death and loss, and all things going back to the departure. And like Meg says, we're trying to remind them of something they forgot. And here's the thing that I'm trying to figure out, even watching it now. And I've seen this season probably 2 or 3 times. What exactly are people forgetting? Because nobody's forgetting that the people were taken. So are they forgetting that they're still alive? We're still here? If that's clear, I mean, I guess I'm just maybe a little confused at that. But, they're saying that this was, they even understanding it. Like Meg says, this was inevitable. And Lori starts having this panic attack. So that kind of shows what's going on. And man, my Logitech camera, man, it is going bananas over here. I just did an update on it, and it is just up and down, up and down. So sorry if the frame rates. It's like warning me my frame rates are being dropped. I'm like, yeah, fucking get it. So get rid of the warnings, okay? I don't need any more fucking warnings from the camera. um, Kevin goes to Patty, though, I need you off the streets. Yeah, I know. You're going to tell me to fuck off. But she actually agrees. And again, her willingness to actually comply should be big red flags. Okay? Because that's not what they do. They don't go along with the status quo. They don't go along with what you want to do. But she agrees, and Kevin talks to the sniper guy, who's just, again, he's creepy. He says cryptic things, gets no real answers because Kevin, like he knows he's real, but at the same time, it's kind of like, why doesn't, I don't like a show that just won't flat out say, who are you? What is your name? Because now the guy, because the guy at the one time had said, is this official business? Like, if you're found at a fucking crime scene, ask the guy his goddamn name. Enough of this fucking mystery shit. I don't find too many flaws in this show, but sometimes the writing gets a little too, like, just stop and give me the guy's fucking name. It was really hard, though, like when they're trying to take her body down. It's clearly these guys don't know what they're doing because they've never had to deal with something like this before, like not photographing the rocks in the crime scene properly. And then the one cop laughing as she's falling, like they're trying to get her off the tree, and the one guy's kind of like like looking at her, and it's a mess, and it's very unprofessional and very kind of just kind of sickening to watch people's callousness about stuff like this. So Kevin, kind of, I don't really know why this scene is in here because there's really no reason for Kevin to go to Jill's school. This was a random event. There's no reason for him to think that she's a target except that her mother is in the guilty remnant. There's no reason to believe that she would be a target. But I guess, since I'm not a parent, I don't know how I would react. I guess I'd react like that, maybe, I don't know. But she immediately breaks down thinking that her mother's dead. Because word gets around quick that something happened. But I do like her response. And I guess maybe this scene was just to get to this response of, I don't know why I'm crying. She wouldn't cry for me. But Lori gets her panic attack checked out. And Patty's standing outside waiting for her. Ready to, they're going on a little trip. Maybe get some like Daryl Hall and Oates, music playing. Meanwhile, Kevin and Detective Vitello get into a big argument because he's going over the qualifications of calling the ATFC, which is now, was it always the ATFC? But it's the ATFC, which is Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Cults. But it gets shot down. They have a very heated discussion about this. And whether or not that guy's right, he may be right. There's like a fly in here. There's like all sorts of problems going on today. Plus there's like some loudmouths upstairs just going all sorts of, they have like one like volume. It's like they're both trying to be Mike Myers with the controlling the volume of his voice. Anyway, the mayor wants, to go along with this curfew that Kevin comes up with. But I'm going to have to pause this because it's so fucking loud. All right. Before we were so rudely interrupted. Patty and Lori go check into a hotel. Sorry, I'm a little visibly pissed off right now. Patty and Lori check into a hotel, and all this is really strange to Lori. She does not know what's going on. We see the little girl outside, and of course, shouldn't be surprised that people take one look at a GR, person and go, you shouldn't be staring at my little girl. I'm surprised them aren't just assaulted like all the time, but maybe they are. But we do get a clue into Lori's mindset when she's in the bathroom, getting ready to take a bath or a shower, and she gets that flash of Gladys getting attacked. Now that's a big fucking clue right there, because you could say, oh, she's imagining her last moments, but it could be something else too, which is kind of like what the sniper guy says later. Kevin tries to call the ATF and drinks some beer while he stakes out the guilty remnant. So Kevin's being very, very, very unprofessional here. his mind, his spiral down is just getting worse and worse because he's just drinking straight up on the job. Maybe he's clocked out, maybe he's not, but he's in his uniform, hanging out outside the guilty remnant to make sure nothing happens. And he drinks himself into a blackout. Basically, he passes out and wakes up to this guy with some dogs barking. And he says they're loud but harmless, but they look like they're fucking ready to rip each other apart. And this guy just kind of gives everybody the impression that don't investigate too hard because nobody really cares about these people and nobody cares what happens to them. And this is where Kevin decides to pick up Matt, played by Christopher Eccleston. We also have where Kevin tries to get some information on Jill, which is just more of like the same of like, is she okay to Emily? She's Jill. She doesn't do okay. And Kevin's like, I can't win. And yeah, it's like you're finally getting it. There is no winning in this. There's just everything sucks. And Lori wakes up to finding some brand new clothes laid out for her by Patty on a little note saying, hey, here we are. I'm in the restaurant. And this is where we get a very interesting scene, a couple of them, one here, one later. But this clip is Ann Dowd and Lori having breakfast. So,
how long has it been since you've spoken, Lori?
About 7 months.
8, right. Well, Lori, you are overdue for a day off. No. You can talk. Just for today. Say anything you want to. Hey, I'm doing it too, right? You ready? She's gonna have French toast, scrambled eggs, order of bacon, large orange juice, coffee. She's gonna have coffee.
Coffee.
You got it.
So it's very, kind of shocking for the character of Patty to suddenly start talking. And Lori kind of feeling like it's a test. Like, okay, she's talking, but if I start talking, is she going to throw me out of here? And we get a callback to that scene a little bit later. But Kevin calls the ATF, and he's not getting a response. And he goes to pick up his white shirts from the laundromat. No ticket, no shirts. He's convinced that the shirts are there, that they just don't want to give them to him. We see Nora is here with her ticket. She's basically, kind of giving them the business a little bit, like they're running the scam on you. They want you to give up so they can sell your shirts on the black market, but, they'll turn up once you stop looking. I don't know if that's true about shirts, maybe on other things like your wallet or something like that, but they bring Matt in for questioning and, just to rule him out because they've done him wrong, or he's been in situations that the guilty remnant, I don't know if you want to say benefited from, but, he got a rock in the face protecting one of them. Then they buy his church and they paint it white. And so, of course, even Matt understands why he would be a suspect. But what he really wants to do is to pray over Gladys, to try to save her soul, basically, still. Reaching out to, since she has no family, he wants to be the one that, can do something for her after the fact because the guilty remnant aren't going to. Also, this is the committee where the whole town, well, not the whole town, but a whole bunch of people from the town show up to talk about the curfew. And it does not go over well. And the sniper guy does make a good point. Okay? And they're all saying, why do we have to suffer for something that happened to them? Because of what they've done to us, why should we care what happens to them? And it's that separation of, these people are still people. Now, are they annoying as fuck? Are they doing some things that make people want, that's their whole thing, is to get you riled up, to get you angry, to get you to act. And that's what they're doing here. But the sniper guy has a point of, what if they just did this to themselves and we're riling ourselves up for no reason? Kevin tries to say, well, you were there, you saw them find the body, but he's like, well, yeah, I was there with some of them, but not with all of them. We don't know how many were involved in this kind of thing, just like with the mannequins. Patty and some of her crew showed up to be arrested, but the rest of them were out doing other things. So, it's a whole big mess. And you can see where the episode is leading you to. I mean, the sniper guy is pointing it out right to everyone, but Kevin still can't get there. Or at least if he's in denial, it's pretty heavy denial. And, he tries to go to them. He tries to go to the guilty remnant where Meg is. And he's trying to say, look, nobody else gives a shit about you guys. He tries to give them whistles, to help them, if they're being attacked. And that retaliation is inevitable for what they did. And Meg does not know where Lori is. So, I mean, he's really there to me. Like, the only reason he's there is because of Lori. If Lori was not involved, I doubt he'd be giving any kind of a shit. In fact, I think things would go very differently for the GR if Lori wasn't one of them. And we get back to Ann Dowd and Lori at the restaurant, where she's going over like how Gladys was in a situation, like something stressful had happened, something really bad had happened. And for Gladys, it was her son dying, and that she had brought here to the restaurant. Patty did the same thing where she's talking. And just like Lori, she wouldn't break. She would not talk. She was holding it all in, being true GR and everything. And she's saying, like, that I understand your pull towards the family and all this, and that how the alternative is very hard, but there can't be any doubt because doubt is fire. And, it's Lori still never breaks. It's basically, she asks for a doggy bag where she writes the word Neil on it. And eventually they go to somebody's front door with the bag. Neil, something's in the bag, and she leaves it there. We don't see who that was. I can't remember if Neil was her Gladys's son's name, but he died. So I don't know if they were dropping something off at another person's house, or if Neil. I'm thinking Neil is somebody is Patty's like ex or something like that, but I can't remember 100% everything about what went down here. But Kevin decides to let Matt pray over Gladys. And, Matt says that it's easier to, he gives this whole speech about Jesus and Thomas, right? I'm not going to go through that whole soliloquy. But essentially, because Jesus tells Thomas something, and then he comes back, and everybody wants to know, what Jesus say to you? What kind of juice? Even back in fucking Bible times, there was gossip, right? But I guess it's Jesus. Who wouldn't want to know? I don't really give a fuck. But the gist of it was, it's easier to stay silent than to speak the truth, which is very true. Very true. Sometimes when I'm trying to talk about things on here, I have to go, can I really be honest? Do people really want the truth? Because I've lost subscribers. I've gotten bad comments from telling my honest opinion on the truth. And it is true. It's easier for most people to just keep their fucking mouths shut rather than rock the goddamn boat. And it's sad because I'm not fully there myself, but I'm trying. The Gladys' body was already shipped out by the ATFC. It's not a calm call. He really rips into this guy. I love when Matt says, I say fuck too. But, of course, when Kevin comes home, the alarm's going off. He can't remember the alarm code because that's just how it goes. Like, it's just one last thing. And he does finally get a hold of the ATF guy who says, you can't get the body back, but we can have a bunch of people there by the end of the week to just eliminate the GR situation. Like, if they want it, don't worry about the victim. They don't give a shit. But they will go away. We will have people there, and they will just be gone. Just say the word. And as tempting as this is to Kevin, to just have this problem be taken away. Again, if Lori wasn't there, I'm almost 100% positive that this conversation goes a different way. But he doesn't do it. And, I kind of wanted him to. I really, really did this. I don't know why. But Kevin just proceeds to get drunk, just wasted. And he goes back to a grocery store, gets more beer. And the clerk doesn't want to let him buy it because he's clearly drunk. He's not falling down drunk, but once he goes to his car, he can't even get the keys in. And he sees the dry cleaner that told him he didn't have his shirts. And so he decides to confront him in this situation. This actor is Samrat Chakrabarti. You may know him from the very first scene of Mr. Robot, which I would play here. But NBC Universal are a bunch of cunts, and they block any videos of their properties. So this is a clip from, though this is the situation that happens on the show.
Please, what do you want?
I want you to look for my shirts. And I would appreciate it if you fucking tried this time.
Yes, of course. Please, help me. How many shirts?
8.
8. And what color?
All white.
Here we are. All white shirts, huh?
That's right.
Here we are. I've got them. Here we are. Yeah, 1 second. Yes, see? White shirts. Here you go. More white shirts. Shirts. Yeah, white. White shirts. 8 shirts.
Thank you.
No, it's okay. No charge, sir. Our mistake, okay?
Thanks.
So as you can see, Kevin's losing it. Again, I mean, that's, big surprise. He's been losing it the whole show, but he really scares this guy. And he even, to me, knows he's crossed a big-time line. But the next scene we have is like Glory is back with the GR, and Matt's outside trying to talk to them about Gladys, trying to say, hey, like we want to help you. Like, you won't take our help. We're here to give it to you. And Lori sitting in the house thinking, Patty and Meg and all of them, they look like they're concerned, like, oh, Lori's had enough. She's going to finally join them and leave us. But, I mean, anybody that knows how story structure is and, like, how characterization goes in situations like this, Lori's not there to leave. She grabs a whistle and gets in Matt's face, blasting it away at him, telling him that his help is not needed here. And violently, this is her shouting at him without shouting to go away and leave them alone. And also showing Lori's commitment to the GR. And in our final bit here, Kevin finally opens up to Jill. He finally tells her the truth that Lori and him are getting a divorce and that she doesn't blame him. And at this moment, this is where Kevin has breaks down, crying, screaming into the pillow, crying into the pillow. Finally releasing some truth, letting some honest feelings out. And the very last bit of this episode is the ATF body, the place where the bodies go. They find Gladys amongst a whole lot of other bodies. So you can see that this was not an isolated incident. And they burn it because they don't care about these people because of what they've been up to and what they're trying to do. And so the mystery here isn't solved. It will be solved in another episode. I believe it's the next one. But, spoilers from here on out. So if you don't want to know the end, and we'll get to the whole, if you like this video, blah, 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 that's what I'll be talking about next. So you won't be missing anything if you stop the video here. But, here's the spoiler. I mean, they did it to themselves because that's how, powerful they feel and like how much they want to get their message across is they're willing to sacrifice themselves and literally get stoned to death, and so it kind of makes you wonder, did she say, please don't stop? Like, don't stop until I'm dead? Or was she literally finally saying, no? But that's, I guess, subjective. Some people, if they comment in this, they might tell me that she was trying to say stop. Some people will say, no, she was absolutely saying, don't stop. I mean, I guess there could be cases in both, really, and not in terms of like, don't stop because I'm dying, put me out of my misery. But that's Gladys. It's a difficult subject. It's a difficult episode to review, but it's one that I couldn't take my eyes off of anytime I watch it. So That's Gladys. So if you like this review, please hit that like button, comment, share, subscribe, all that jazz. Otherwise, this is Robert Smirking Gun Review saying we'll be back sooner rather than later with more leftovers. We'll be on episode 6. This one, I believe, is the one that finally focuses on Nora. And anyway, this is Robert Smirking Gun Review saying have a great day. We're going to be reviewing Ready or Not later on tonight. Might not even be up till tomorrow, but I will be seeing it at about 3 o'clock. So in about 4 hours, I'll be seeing that movie, and hopefully the review will be up later tonight or tomorrow. So have a great day, and we'll see you next time.